found here, and so we decided to build this place, and it's turning into a place that we can come and find some time to rest. But just at the time we get on, the next day will become just as much as Monrovia. I want to thank all of you for coming all the way on this dark road. The road is how it is because of arrangements that were made before to give concession agreements that were haul iron ore without wood. We have to continue to live with it. Every now and then we intervene, we tell people how they could make life low. But we can't do it for too long. I hope again with the road getting worse and worse, we can intervene, but I want to welcome all of you and I want to thank you for sparing the time to come all the way out here. Thanks to all of you who also came on the day of the birthday. A number of people that were here from all over. Very encouraging, and I'm very grateful for people. I actually had come here because I wanted to avoid the crowd, but it looks like I should have stayed in Monrovia. But it was. I always say when people don't like you, it's bad. When they like you, it's worse. And but I'm very grateful, and it's good that we're having this cabinet meeting here. It's a little change in venue. We hope we'll have the opportunity to do that once in a while. Thanks to all of you again for the support, for the hard work. So today we know that a few more ministers are on the way, but we have a quorum. So we want to call this cabinet meeting to order, and our usual chaplain will lead us in the word of prayer.
Father, we thank you for the opportunity to serve. We thank you for the opportunity to serve under a leader with a vision, a leader with purpose and with passion to transform Liberia. We ask as we deliberate, Heavenly Father, you will take preeminence, you will give us wisdom, and you will give us understanding so that decisions can be made to impact the people of Liberia. In Jesus' name we pray.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Mr. Vice President. And to join the President, I would like to welcome you to this 8th Cabinet meeting of the year. And as the President said, the venue has changed, so some of you will be quite uncomfortable because of the sitting capacity. But nonetheless, it's still a Cabinet meeting, and we hope the results from this Cabinet meeting will be one that will impact the livelihood around the country. Mr. President, before I proceed, I would like to do a few introductions. First, we have a new Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Mr. Sam Sikuya, who is sitting in today as the Minister of State. So, Mr. Kuya, welcome. We also have the new head of PDU. The PDU has been a vexing issue over time. Now, through your permission and approval, we have Mr. Mark Moba, who is now the new head of PDU. Yes, we also have with us the Minister of Mines and Energy, the new Minister of Mines and Energy, Mr. Tubmanburg. Welcome. Okay, as you can see, the agenda is quite loaded and compressed, but the most important part of this agenda, of course, as the President has always intimated to us, is creating jobs for the youth. And therefore, we'll brainstorm as a cabinet. I've asked few ministers and heads of agencies who work directly, is in line with job creation, to chime in to see how we can collectively find a strategic approach to increase job creation in the country. And hopefully, at the end of this, we'll have an accelerated job creation framework with specific responsibility from various ministers and agencies. The next item on the agenda, of course, is the question of drugs. You know, there have been some work, some improvement so far in tackling the job situation, but we want to hear from those who have been charged with the responsibility to handle this and find a way how we can speed it up, where the gaps are, fill them, where we need to make some improvement, do that, especially in terms of rehabilitation of those who have been affected by the drug crisis. But it's also important that the drug crisis and rehabilitation of those affected can also be linked to employment as well. So you see how employment is so critical in this for this meeting. The next item on the agenda, of course, is the budget. For the first time, we've exceeded the $1 billion mark, and so we are all happy. The minister will brief cabinet on the budget, some of the assumptions that went into the budget in terms of revenue generation, and how the revenue will be allocated across the various sectors of government. And there are other issues on the agenda, including our role as a member, a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. The foreign minister will be speaking to that specifically. Okay, Mr. President, without much ado, I would like to turn the agenda over to you in the meeting for you to preside. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and sorry we overtook you. Mr. Vice President, the Dean of the Cabinet, members of the Cabinet, members of the press, as I said earlier, I want to thank you again for your presence here. We have a few things to highlight in our opening statement. As we begin the last month of the year, I want to recognize the broad gains across the government that we have made together. And I'd like to be very serious about that. They will have to do everything to be a part of the making of this country. But everything you do add to the making of the country. And I wish we knew, even if we're in opposition, we should wonder if you came and you were not given a chance to do anything, and the next person comes to do the same thing, would you have a country? You wouldn't have a country. So all of us will play our part in our respective areas, and I want to appreciate everybody, whatever you do, even including our people who are not in government, who are doing good things for the country. We have to be very grateful to them. So a few things have happened in agriculture. The rice production is rising with nearly 15,000 hectares under cultivation. And we'd like to highlight that because all of these are based on information given us by those who are key players. So when they talk, you can go and check behind them. You didn't see it, let us know. Governance is strengthening as the rule of law is improved. We are not relenting in our fight against corruption, and have already begun setting examples to demonstrate our seriousness. Cases involved suspended tenure officials should be resolved promptly, and you know some of them have already resigned. And outstanding audits excuse me, outstanding audits along with matters submitted to the LACC. We must address these without delay. And I'm saying without delay because sometimes these delays create other problems because people continue to talk about them, and also they affect our progress. The national security has improved. We must continue to intensify our effort against drugs. And I want to say that from all indication, even the fight against drugs is taken very serious, including the citizens themselves. I want to be grateful to them. Our young people need to be rehabilitated. So it's not just fighting the drugs, but to rehabilitate some of those who've been affected. The economy is stabilizing, growth is accelerating. Key achievement this year that we have support the $1 billion national budget. As you know, it's been a long time. We've been between 600-700 million to make such an improvement. I want to congratulate all of those who have been involved in the tax regime, and most of this money come from our own resources. That's the beauty about it. In tourism, establishment of tourism authority in Liberia, it's a very important move. Internationally, Liberia is gradually regaining credibility and visibility. The public sector delivery depends on our strong performance. Our officials must collaborate, meet their targets under the performance management system. Maybe when we started, most people did not understand how that was working, but I hope it is working now, and provide regular reporting. We will track the outcomes of our foreign trips and engagements with development partners and ensure that Liberia benefit from these trips and from our efforts. The high demand of leadership will continue to guide our appointments. We have to have rigorous vetting of critical positions and not at business as usual. It's not going to be based on party relations or any family connection. Because if this country has to move, we have to put the right people in place, people who love the country, people who want to see a good country, and people who are competent. With the DA leadership, I want to inform all appointments, particularly as we respond to the service delivery. It is important because it affects our youth and our country. And I want to go also further to say that we approach today's discussion with firm results. Unlike for some of the people, because it is difficult for people to know what is happening, if you have some special programs that you are pursuing that maybe you can brief us, because people want to know what is happening. Some people talk without knowing. We don't care much about those who don't want to say the truth. but we know what we're doing, and sometimes the things that you have in the pipeline that will make people know that things are happening. You have the chance to talk about them. One thing that is sure that we are committed to building this nation, and I'm saying that we are doing it on the basis of who we know, where we know about our country and where we want to move it. I have other talking points such as in the agriculture sector, like we said, the rice production, but also in the infrastructure. It's expanding. Electricity, I think the MD was here this morning. I don't know whether he's around. I want to thank him very much for the hard work, and I see people are feeling that electricity is moving. I think one of the most recent ones is that want to take it all the way to Robertsfield from here to Bay Junction. I think that is ongoing. Integrity and accountability. Integrity institutions, we want to let them know also that they too are not above the law. So just as they are there to monitor, we also are monitoring them because they will have to be what they want us to be. So suspended tenure cases, outstanding audits, LHCC matters must be resolved quickly, as I said. Security anti-drugs, we have talked about that. Fight against drugs, been intensified. We want to warn those people who are doing these jobs that they are not, like I tell the police, that the badges they wear are not hunting license. I see the drug and drug people, they're running wild with things as if to say it's a license for them to break the law. That's not what we said. The results must show in what you do. Job creation is very important. There's no way we're going to go through this country this long without creating jobs. As I told you quite often that a lot of young people train, prepare to work, need jobs. Some people believe that all these jobs must come to the government. It's not possible. So let's do everything. I don't see the NIC man here. No. Oh, okay. Then our international standing, which is very important. Sometimes we don't know, but these are all monitored very closely. And they have a lot to do with how we access loans, how we support, and I think it's important that we are conscious of that. The public service performance, we've already talked about that. In our leadership and appointment, we don't know everybody that we appoint. But we want to say that people who even recommend people must first believe in what we want to achieve, and they themselves must stand for it before they bring people. I just hold anybody as accountable who brings somebody who they know, not the right person. We can help people, but when it comes to service delivery, it has to be the right people. And right people don't necessarily mean people who are academically competent, but with integrity as well. Behind the corridors, I want to inform you about our relationship two other branches of government have been improving very well. The legislatures have tried their best to work with us, the judiciary as well. And I think we make them to understand that we all need to work together to achieve what we have to achieve for this country. We had very successful conference in Banga, thanks to the Minister of Internal Affairs, the tribal chiefs, and all of these people. They turned up in numbers. They were well, the first time I see them, well dressed, and they were all in very good spirit. Of course, what I like to do for my own private record, I want to know the statistics, the number of leaders from each of the counties. Some county dominates too highly. It would be interesting if you got to know. But they were all in good spirit. Some of the things that we are working on, and we have some commitment, is for a football academy in Banga. M&G have promised us that they will sponsor that. And we're not going to let them rest until they do it, because we need it. Banga, because of the central location. We want to lay out the capitals. Some of the problems we have with land issues is because everybody wants to be near the road. But people will find out that opportunities are all over as long as they place it later. We are working on that. We want to relocate the fire station on Ashmont Street. I went to school right there. That small place, less than I don't know, it's a lot or so. I don't see how we can continue to have that fire department there. So we're looking for a place to relocate. I hear the land, people are looking around. We want to do that because we have to improve that area as well. I thought about road construction. We have some of the longest rainy seasons. So you start road construction, 6 months, you have to wait. But I thought the best thing to do is that if it's 100, 150 mile road, we don't give it to one contractor, at least 2, 3, so they can work together. If we don't do that, we'll be taking 6, 7 years to build a road. So I think we should think about it. We have to let our partners know that we have to work with respect to what our country is. And look at the Banga Medikoma Road. It's almost going to how many years? Apart from the technical delays and all of these, but the rain season itself doesn't give us chance to build roads. So if we have 2 or 3 companies, we can make it faster. The other one is about the Omega Tower. You know very well that way back there we had this program about the selling market women. When I became vice president, I think almost about 60-70% of my time was thinking with the issues of the market. And the selling market women, the whole Omega area was surveyed for the market. We know that other things have happened in between, but I can just let you know that we're taking over everything there. Yesterday we met with someone whom we have commissioned to raise funds to put a modern market there that will have everything with respect to medical facility. I want the women there themselves to learn to read and write. Their children too that come to the market, a parking lot, banking, everything will be there, and that's what I want to be a very successful meeting with someone who had taken the leadership to help us raise funds for that. So those are some of the things that we intend to do. I don't know who here lives without a market, but for us to go to markets, I've been to Gubaja before to see the slum from where our food comes and things not organized. I think that's not the way to go. So we talked yesterday. As they begin to raise the funds, we'll begin to do some of the job with the roads and everything. But those are some of the plans that we have in mind. And I'd like to see for some issues, for some of the billboards. For a long time, I had a feeling that if I were to wake up in the morning and see a billboard that say, we are building this school or doing that, for some people, it just gave them some special feeling. Sometimes we need to let the public know what plans we have. And that also helped the committee to all those. Here, the ERBC man is here. He's been doing a good job. And he spent the night here. He's from this area. We want to thank him too for the expansion of the TV stations. They're not going to be TV stations like we know where you have to, I think, for the saying that you have the normal TV and they put a transformer and that will give us access. I don't know, Eugene, is Eugene here? I think he's out there. So those are some of the things that we have in the pipeline, and as you know, we talk about them, but you are our DHL. You keep those promises for us. We want to thank you again. As we go on, there will be few things I would like to highlight, but the agenda of the day is before you. We want to go along with it. So this is just for my opening statement. But besides that, I'd like to also thank the Army for making use of the funds I provided. The moment we dedicated the two facilities, Kakata and Sanakure, the next day 605 soldiers left the barracks. That shows how congested the barracks had been. The women there complained. There were about 2-3 families using one bathroom, which was not good. And I hope that more of this will be done. I want to thank the Army for making good use of it. I think they will have to brief us on the equipment that is supposed to be coming from Cameroon. We've been waiting. We have personally intervened. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kofi Woods, sometimes we need to be given progress report to know how we stand on that, so that if there are further interventions that we need to make, we'll make them. So I want to thank you and I welcome you. Again, we go according to the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
With that, I will please ask the media to kindly excuse us to continue with the business of cabinet meeting.
So, folks, wherever you are, however you're following again, this is the Executive Mansion, and we're live here at the in Tubmanburg, Bomi County, And a few minutes ago, we just listened to His Excellency the President giving the overview of today's cabinet meeting. Right in there, he was speaking about several issues about the. So I can just run you down a few lines about what His Excellency was speaking about, and we have the agenda here in our hand, and part of what he was saying. That will be discussed today. We have so normally we have opening prayer, opening remarks, job creation, national emergency response, current job market, review of investment pipeline and job creation prospects, youth skills and employment programs, financing options for large-scale employment initiatives, and each of those items will be spoken by various ministry and agencies or ministers, and based on what will be said, will inform His Excellency on the way forward. We also have your national response to substance abuse and illicit trafficking, and we have enforcement measures, progress, gaps, and recommendations that will be done by the LDA. We have the current state of rehabilitation, services and capacity gaps, Ministry of Health and Ministry of Youth and Sports. We have national monitoring system and reliable drug use statistics. That is also by Ministry of Health and Ministry of Youth and Sports. We have integrating anti-drugs initiative with youth empowerment, and employment, and that is by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And third on the agenda, will be for the 2025 and 2026 national budget. That will be done by the Cabinet Minister of Finance and Development Planning. Will speak on that. We have the clarification of major revenue assumptions, explanation and justification for priority sector allocations, agreement and cabinet unified fiscal direction. Minister of Finance and Development Planning will speak on that, and then we have presentation on boundary delineation. Presentation on boundary delimitations in preparation for the 2029 national elections. Then we have accelerated public investment in energy expansion to boost private investment and economic growth. So these things will be spoken about. However, His Excellency spoke about several other issues. He spoke about the drugs issue in Liberia, and that these drugs, DEA should not just take it as a license to go about doing anything to anybody. They should go there and make sure they show workings. There should be results. And the Excellency spoke about the 10 new issues, those 10 cases that are under investigation, those 10 cases that need to be resolved. He asked that they be resolved speedily. He spoke about youth employment. He spoke about health issue. He thanked Mr. Fagon, and there was special accreditation given to Mr. Fagon for the extension in broadcast, video, and other things that's been done. He also spoke about the Army. He thanked the Ministry of Defense. We have, so those also present in the meeting here today. We have Minister Gafuan, Minister of Planning and Development, Minister of Finance, Planning and Development. We have General Geraldine George. We have she's the Minister of National Defense. We have the Honorable Sekou Kroma, Minister for Post and Telecommunications. We have Madam Magdalene Dagoze, Minister of Commerce. So we have just bumped into the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs at the Ministry of State, and we just actually ambushed him. Mr. Minister, I don't know if you are following, but His Excellency, today is a cabinet meeting here, the first out of the city of Monrovia. First of all, what does that speak to His Excellency's vision for Liberia, and what does this speak to decentralization?
Well, this is a cabinet meeting that actually was supposed to take place in Monrovia, but I think you can see the weekend of activities we had on Saturday, a holiday, President's birthday, President Tubman, and then Sunday, the birthday of the current president himself, Joseph Nima Boakai. And there is a need but there has been a need, let me say so, for the cabinet to come together to look at certain very critical matters of state, like you were just to budget, job issues of employment, and a whole lot of other issues that needed to be looked at. The president will be doing some travels very soon, so the meeting was set here as the most convenient. It is also good for these meetings to move around, but this is not the first. The other presidents have done similar thing. I was in the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government working with Vice President Joseph Boakai, and I remember we used to go to Julujua for cabinet meetings. I do remember when I was working in the George Weah government in the office of Vice President Joe Howard Taylor, we had a meeting in Ganta, cabinet meeting. So it is really not new, but it is very good. It is good to decentralize these kinds of functions, so that you go in a town and make some boost in the, commercial area. People also get a feel of how people feel in that area. It helps in decision making, etc., etc. So I feel very excited about it.
Honourable Minister, we did hear you say that President Boakai has some travels to make. Are these about regional issues? Or is his travel based on regional issues? Because just the other day, the President was at a very crucial continental meeting there with his counterparts. He's met with President Adama Barrow and other leaders. And I mean, there are pressing issues now on the African continent. ECOWAS, we're even now facing the issue of coup in Guinea-Bissau and other issues. And come to think of it, President Boakai has been one leader on the continent who has stressed keenly about governance and security issues on the African continent. What will be some of the issues what will be some of the meetings he will be participating in on his next trip, and if you care to tell us what that trip is?
Well, online right now, as far as I know, plans are underway for the president to visit Imo State in Nigeria, where he has been invited with other heads of state. It's going to be the Imo State Economic Summit 2025. It's actually the inaugural summit. So they call on him based on his own knowledge, experience, to go and share thoughts with them. So he will be addressing that conference. Right after that, I think it's listed for him to also quickly attend the inauguration of President Ouattara of Ivory Coast. That will be in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. So that will be a very short visit. And then in the middle of the month, he is scheduled to attend the ECOWAS ordinary session, 68th ordinary session in Abuja. So those are all lined up. So you can see that his schedule is very, very filled.
And speaking about the Ivory Coast travel, President Alassane Ouattara will be inaugurated, but come to think of it, he's a member of the Mana River Union. President Boakai has been making pressing concerns about economic issues and strengthening the grip of the Mana River Union. Does President Boakai intend to make use of this opportunity to speak to his counterpart about some of these issues?
You cannot spare any opportunity. Every opportunity you have, you take advantage to push your issues wherever you go. So I wouldn't doubt it that would preoccupy much of his time too, sub-regional issues, even though it's just a celebratory thing, inauguration. But you use those moments. Some people used to say that at the United Nations, major decisions are not taken in the hall when the meeting is called to order. Say major decisions are taken in the hallways, in the coffee shops, so that when they come in now, it's not hard to formulate them into official positions. So on these kind of missions, leaders take the opportunity to push, some of the issues that they have at hand.
Minister, one last one before I leave you. In there, when President Boakai was making his introductory statement, he stressed on the issue of the fight against drug. He mentioned that while it's true his government is doing well in the fight against drug, he's encouraging the security apparatus not to use the badges that they have as hunting licenses. He has raised a concern that he's informed that the folks in the DEA, in the police and other places, are using the badges to overstep their bounds. What do you make of this statement? How concerning is this to President Boakai?
I am very happy that on this kind of platform, on this stage, he is letting everybody know what has been on his mind. For some of us who are around him most of the time, this is not strange statement. This is something he has been expressing, he has been concerned about. This president is very concerned about people overstepping and misusing authority. I mean, that is something that turns him off. So I'm happy. I really was not in there right now when he was speaking. I arrived a little late, but I'm happy that he brought it out. It becomes a national issue of discussion. I think LDA people, these security forces, they have enormous state power in their hands. They have to be very careful how they employ it in the area of rule of law, because you could easily abuse it. There are a lot of temptations. You get a protester come in your face and this and that, but this and that. You may overstep. When you neutralize a protester, there is no more need for you to inflict extra harm on the person, assault them. The person is neutralized. They can be talking in their mouth, nothing happening to you, the thing coming from their mouth. But so I think that it couldn't be said much more than this. I mean, I think that we need to look at it. Maybe if it is a matter of training, further training, it should be pursued. But the president says this when we go to these meetings. We're sitting on meetings that he conducts with key sectors, and he says it. So to lift it up to a cabinet level, I think it's very good. It's a crucial area that we need, because rule of law, I mean, that's one of the pillars in the arrest agenda. So we have to help to ensure that really we're making progress in that area. So yes, I'm happy that he put it out today. He let the cat out of the bag. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much.
Thank
So that was the voice of Deputy Minister of State for Public Affairs. That's the Deputy Minister Anthony V. Kessley. So as we're here now, but as the day goes on, we will be bringing you updates from activities happening right now. So speak in this building that is right in front of me. This building here is where now we have leaders of our government, several leaders. Several government officials from our government in there discussing pertinent issues relative to the growth and development of Liberia. They're expected to remain in there till maybe midday or after midday, and they will come out for lunch. And but as I was saying, I was trying to list the officials that are here right now. Some of the government officials are here. So let me just run it from top to bottom. Minister Gafuan, Finance Minister, Minister of National Defense, Minister Geraldine George, the Minister of Post and Telecommunication, Minister Sekou, the Minister of Commerce, Minister Dagoze, Dr. Jasso Jala, the Minister of Education, Tyler Salif Tyler, actually, the Minister of Transport, Dr. J. Alexander Nuta, the Minister of Agriculture, Councillor Cooper W. Kura, Minister of Labor, Josiah Joke, Director General Civil Service Agency, Galakpai Kotima, Director General of the General Services Agency, Bomi Horace Colley, she's the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Honorable Jeff Blibo, he's the Chairman of the National Investment Commission. We also have Minister Honorable Samuel Kofi Woods II, he's the National Security Advisor. The Deputy Minister here, Public Affairs, we have Madam Kulanye Fofana, she's the Presidential Press Secretary, Madam Madela Cooper, the Senior Political Advisor to His Excellency the President, Dr. Augustine Kone, he's also the Senior Advisor to His Excellency. We have Honorable Sir Johnny, Senior Economic Advisor to the President, Honorable James Dobo Jala, Commissioner General LRA, and the newly appointed Minister of Mines and Energy, and also the newly appointed head of the PDU. They're also in there. His Excellency introduced them. They were introduced by the Cabinet Director. So a lot of other discussions will be ongoing here. But as we said, His Excellency has touched on a lot of things. And as the day go by, we will be bringing you these activities as it happens. So thank you if you've been following for long. My name is Varnias Kamara. I'm here with my colleagues, and recently, days ago, His Excellency held his birthday, 81st birthday here, and so I thought it wise to just bring also the entire government to sit here. The Vice President is also very present. Sorry, His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Kun, is also in there, and activities relative to the growth and development of Liberia are ongoing. So again, this is for the development of our country, and it was said His Excellency has few trips to make. One, he's going to Abia State in Nigeria for an economic summit. From there, he will be going to Ivory Coast for the inauguration of Honorable Ouattara, the president of that country, Cote d'Ivoire, and he will also attend the ECOWAS summit in Nigeria, ordinary session. Thank you again for following. My name is Varnias Kamara. We will resume when we have updates for you, but keep following the page, keep sharing, and have a blessed day. It's presently 50 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for following.